Cancel your incest support group meeting and put on your Pip-Boy 3 billion, because season 2 of Fallout is finally here, baby. And man, after that first episode, am I excited for the rest of this season. So let's go through this first episode, and as always, make sure you're following me wherever you're watching this. Alright, we open with not only the Amazon MGM Studios logo, but also the Bethesda Games logo on the Robco Secure Restaurant screen. We then get the shot of Los Angeles with one of the airships flying over, and god, the cinematography in this season is just beautiful, all of the shots. We see an anti-automation protest breaking out in front of Robco Industries where they're beating a Mr. Handy to death. Mr. Handy, no, why did you have to be a scab? And from there, we cut inside a bar to where we can see Robert House talking on a screen, or whom we assume is Robert House, who we have seen as Robert House from the last season. Because we then meet this man, who I assume is the real Robert House. What I believe is going on here is this is basically the propagandized Robert House. This is the mascot of Robco, Robert House. And the real Mr. House, that evil son of a bitch, is running things behind the scene. And House has a great line talking to the men at the bar where he says, every dollar spent is a vote, and that man has more votes than anyone else in the country, in reference to, well, himself. House also points out that the construction worker is most likely using an H&H nail gun at his job, which is a House-owned property. H&H was the company started by Robert and his brother Anthony that he then left and started Robco. House then takes the men out to the back alley where after letting them punch him in the face once, he shows them $5 million in pre-war cash, and I gotta say, this looks identical to the pre-war money in the game. He then tells them that they can have all of this money if he allows them to put what I'm gonna call for the rest of this video a Neuralink into their neck. Now, this Neuralink that this control chip that Mr. House is putting into this man looks extremely similar to the cybernetic pain inhibitor from Fallout 4. And then right after the title card, we get this great establishing shot of Novak, where you have Novak right here in the middle, you have Helios 1 off to the right beneath me, you have the Repcon test site, and then right underneath it, right here at the bottom, you have the Poseidon gas station. And I gotta say, I was smiling ear to ear the second I saw that Novak sign. We see that in the years following Fallout New Vegas, that the Great Khans have taken over Novak. And while the ghoul is hung by a noose covered in barbed wire, Lucy decides this is the perfect time to try a charisma check, which she fails miserably. It actually feels so badly that the Great Khan leader, Rick the Prick, as he's named in the credits, says that they're gonna eat dog meat because of it. And from there, Lucy shoots the ghoul down and Big Iron starts playing, and baby, peak. You have Lucy wounding the Great Khans from Dinky the dinosaur with her snipe. Meanwhile, the ghoul is out here moving like Ghost Rider the way he's wielding that barbed lasso. He eventually then shoots a grenade launcher at these guys, and we get this amazing slow-mo shot that is definitely a reference to the VATS in game. I've seen a lot of people saying from how gory this episode was that the ghoul definitely has the bloody mess perk. We then see the ghoul heal himself with radiation, which is something that has been around in the game for a while for ghouls. It's something that can happen of ghoulification in 76, and is also similar to the Rad Child perk from Fallout New Vegas. We get this beautiful shot of the New Vegas skyline, and the ghoul tells Lucy, we get this beautiful shot of the New Vegas skyline, followed by a conversation where the ghoul explains to Lucy that the reason that New Vegas is still intact is because House had enough missile defenses to protect the city. And those of us who played the games know that the whole reason that the rest of the Mojave didn't get protected is because he didn't get that platinum chip in time. Then go into the first flashback, picking up exactly where we left off, and Cooper immediately rushes home to take his daughter away from his mass murdering wife. As they're driving away, Cooper's daughter asks where they're going, and he says Bakersfield, which is funny considering Bakersfield is the site of Vault 21, which eventually becomes Necropolis, the home of the ghouls. This made some people speculate whether or not Vault 21 was the vault that Cooper ended up making it into. We think of this whole Fallout 4 ass sequence. I mean, even down to the Vault Tech representative. They pulled him straight out of that game. But as they're driving through that neighborhood, the test sirens begin to go off. And of course, none of the neighborhood is listening to their radios, or Cooper yelling that it's a test, so they lose their shit and start freaking out. This scares Cooper's daughter, to which he picks her up and sees a vertibird flying overhead, that then flies straight past a billboard of his face for Vault Tech, saying, keep your loved ones safe. I just gotta say, this is some expert marketing on Vault Tech's side. So you're telling me you have a giant Vault Tech Industries billboard right outside of this neighborhood, and at this exact moment, there is also a Vault Tech representative in the neighborhood. Not only that, at this exact time, you know that there is a scheduled siren about to go off, and then you use a vertibird to divert the public's attention straight up towards that billboard. I mean, come on, people. We then cut to Vault 33, where Reg is just going full German boy on this lollipop. They're still attempting to fix their water chip after the events of Season 1, which, as always, is just a great throwback to Fallout 1. Now, Reg tries to ask where Norm is, but he immediately gets shot down and told, oh, well, Norm is just on a leadership program. But Reg is also feeling very unfulfilled and very useless with his PhD in event planning, so he ends up starting a Products of Incest support group. And you know what? We'll just cover this now here out of order. These two need to be... just send them out into the wasteland to be eaten by a deathclaw immediately. What is this? Anyway, we check in with Vault 32, where Steph is now the overseer. And Chet is raising her baby against his will. This is not his baby. Other people in Vault 32 are starting to call the baby Chet Jr., man. I mean, then we see that inter-vault communications are still disabled, which brings us back to Vault 31, where Norm is still being held prisoner by Bud Askin's brain. Bud is still trying to convince Norm to get into his dad's cryopod so he doesn't starve to death, and says, we'll release you on Reclamation Day. But when Norm asks when Reclamation Day is, he says when there's nobody left on the surface to disagree with us. We then pick up back with Lucy and the ghoul, where we find a man literally crushed under the capitalistic boot of Hank, for which we then get introduced to one of the best delicacies I've ever seen come out of the Fallout universe: flea soup. See, this is why you can't eat at everybody's house. Dogmeat then leads them to the Starlight Drive-In, which we've seen in Fallout 4 as a brand of drive-in. And this specific drive-in was showing one of Cooper Howard's movie, A Man and His Dog. We then have another flashback where Cooper's daughter is playing Whack-A-Kami, and Cooper is just straight up asked by Moldaver to assassinate Mr. House. Cooper gets home and tensions are high between him and his wife because both of them are keeping things from each other that they can't talk about. But during the scene, we also get a radio ad for Yum Yum Deviled Eggs, and we hear a little bit of news about West Tech's stock prices. And if you remember, West Tech is not only the company that made power armor, but also the company that produced the FEV virus, which leads to super mutants. We then see the abandoned Vault 24, which is actually a pretty interesting thing because Vault 24 was supposed to be a vault in Fallout Fallout New Vegas the game, but the developers actually abandoned the concept. So it coming back into the show as an abandoned vault is pretty cool. Cooper explains to Lucy that he's been in many vaults while looking for his family, and Lucy thinks that one of the worst vaults she could find is Vault 4, which Cooper lets her know there are way worse vaults out there than Vault 4. And when they get inside, they found that they've caught all the people in this vault in a very Chinese time in their life. Because for some reason, they were trying to turn people into communists via mind control and neural interfaces in this vault. I mean, it is just crazy and disturbing. They find a trail of sugar bombs, which leads to a guy who has one of the Neuralinks implanted in his neck, which Hank uses to talk to Lucy for about 30 seconds, telling her to go home before the guy's brain explodes all over her. And yeah, man, that's exactly how you're going to convince your daughter that you're not an evil mass murdering sociopath. Back in Vault 31, Norm just says fuck it and decides to unfreeze every single person in Vault 31, which I can't assume is going to end well because these are all management type people. They are not going to listen to him. Then we end with Hank at what seems like a Vault Tech control vault of some sort. He goes to his desk to hear that he has 462,311 missed messages and just goes, time to get to work, and goes and makes a cup of coffee. And man, after walking all the way from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, you know that cup of coffee had him like,
this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
Then Hank just gets dripped out to the nines with the Pip-Boy 3 billion. I mean, look at how he's flexing this thing on us right now. Bro, oh my God, the aura. Hank goes into the workshop and sees that all the Neuralink test subjects are dead, but that they've slowly been making the Neuralink smaller and smaller to make it more effective and not have people's brains blow up. Hank then sends a message to somebody, I assume Mr. House, that he will continue the work that was started here. And the end credits take us through Prim. We see people get blown up on the El Diablo roller coaster. We see the Bison Steve Hotel. We have a sign for the Mojave Express. And we end on a billboard for the Lucky 38 Casino. Honestly, what were your thoughts on episode 1 of season 2 of Fallout? More than anything, I'm just happy to be in New Vegas. As always, make sure to like and follow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This is like a transition post for when we eventually start doing YouTube stuff, but hey, 10 minutes, that's not bad. I can do a 10-minute video. So there's that.